Greetings, Council 11 pilots. I'm Captain Tony DiCarlo, and I'm running to be your next captain representative. If you haven't already done so, please go to alpa.org/votenet and vote today. As a result of today's email sent out by one of the candidates, I felt compelled to put this video out. And I loathe to release a communication like this, ever. And it will be the one and only time you will get a video or communication from me of this nature, because after this I will ignore it. But it was a gross mischaracterization of who I am, what I said, and my intentions for you as I've led you here in Council 11. Council 11 pilots deserve to know what has happened since the January recall and elections. I asked you to vote for someone where it is not a punishment to go back to line flying after being on full-time flight pay loss. And that's why I'm asking you to choose Tony DiCarlo to be your next captain representative. You deserve calm and steady leadership, and that's what I have provided. Please don't make the mistake for Washington, D.C. pilots by electing Recall Master Chair Worcester back to the same deliberative body from which she was just recalled by a super majority. Council 11 pilots, once again, deserve better than this, because the following is a partial list of reasons this chair was recalled. And for brevity, I'll just leave it at this. She refused to follow MEC direction. She stopped taking counsel from her bosses, her 23 status reps. She was unable to restore a just safety culture in her entire time in office. And probably the straw that broke the camel's back was when she self-appointed her husband out of 18,000 pilots to become the executive administrator, thereby funneling $1.2 million in ALPA dues to her family's checking account, plus a $4,000 a month per diem spending allowance. She weaponized private texts and emails for political gain. She selectively responded to her 23 status reps or ignored them. She used to call and brag to me that there were a number of status representatives where she just would never return their calls. She refused to address past MEC failures and tried to shut down the roadmap committee from forming. She repeatedly called representatives like myself. I received a call from her asking me to overlook serious representational and institutional concerns when a former representative's conduct was under scrutiny. I'm a fiduciary of this organization and could not do that. But even the ALPA-I Executive Council rebuked Recall Chair Worcester for her poor judgment and decision making. And I'm going to read this for you so you can see exactly what AI 40 said about Recall Chair Worcester. Whereas those issues were repeatedly brought to the attention of the former chair of the UAL MEC, who is the responsible Chief Administration Officer of ALPA at United, for ensuring that pilots are being properly represented and that ALPA's interests at United are being protected, and who nonetheless failed to take effective action. After these matters were brought to her attention to bring these serious representation and institutional problems to an end. Unfortunately, that's what we saw from Ann Worcester. In fact, we didn't even know about that when she found out about it in March of 2024. We did not find out about it until September. But it tends to be just like the letter you got today, a number of half-truths that were just spun with alacrity. And some examples of that were when you received a 5-page PDF that I printed up about the time she was recalled, saying, essentially suggesting none of it was her fault. You got another email in February after she hijacked the national campaign email system to run for master chair, a position from which she was just recalled, without any real motivation to run in earnest, and more character assassinations. Then she did it again a few days later when she took her aim towards the safety folks and more character assassinations. But the one that really hit home for me was on April 2nd. And this is when she ran a false campaign to be the vice chair of the MEC. And she took aim at Captain Dewey Duhadway. And I have seen leaders over 50 years of my life, 25 years in the Air Force and 10 years here at United. And Captain Dewey Duhadway has more integrity in the tip of his pinky finger than any other leader I've worked for. So when she came at him with a character assassination for personal gain and put her own personal agenda above the needs of this pilot group, all 18,100 of us that received that email, it was a bridge too far. It has rendered her unfit to be a Council 11 leader. That is not the temperament or judgment you need in a leader. Contrastingly, I have led this council without emotion. I have gone to work for the pilots, and I have earned the respect of this MEC and the committee structure, where the real work is done for Council 11 pilots. I ask for your support, and I ask you to go vote Tony DiCarlo. And if you cannot vote for Tony DiCarlo, I ask you to go vote for Captain Jim Music. I thank you for your time, and I thank you for your vote.